show how to create a repository, fork my repository, and synchronize your changes and fetch the changes that have been made. So here I am. I'm on GitHub. I'm in my alternate account, which is Redshirt Professor. Okay, and so just pretend that you are kind of the account here. And this is the primary account that I'm using for my class, and this is the repository that I'm using for my current class. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click my class, this repository, and this is the repository that you will want to fork and set up to synchronize. So in order to do this, while you are logged in on your account, you're going to click fork. All right, and you'll get this message that says GitHub is forking. It should only take a few seconds, and now it has created the fork. Okay, and so this is in your account. You can see this thing, and it says it's been forked from Smiles Chen 2019 Spring Stats 131. So that's great. Okay, and so what we want to do now is we want to come over, open up a terminal window, and we want to use Git to clone this thing. So you might have HTTPS or use SSH, and I'm going to go ahead and copy this onto the clipboard, and I'm going to come over here, and I want to go to the folder where I want to create the copy here. So I'm going to so right now I don't have a folder for 2019 Spring Stats 131, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in git clone, and I'm going to paste in that address. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter here, and it's going to clone it, and it has done so. Okay, I'm assuming that you have already set up an SSH key so that your computer is able to communicate to your GitHub account, and so if you haven't set up an SSH key, then this git clone operation is not going to work. Okay, so I can go ahead and do this, and if I list the contents of my directory, we can see that this has now been created, 2019 Spring Stats 131. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change into that directory, 2019 Spring Stats 131. Okay, and I can ask for I can list off the files in that directory, and we can see that indeed it has the folders, the files that appeared onto in the repository. They've been cloned here, and I can ask for git status here. All right, and it says it's on branch master. Your branch is up to date with origin master. Okay, so everything looks good here. Okay, what we need to do though is we need to set up what's called an upstream remote repository. So if on this thing, if I type in git remote -v, it's going to show that the origin, the remote repository that it synchronizes to, is on my Redshirt Prof account. Okay, so for example, let's say in a maybe in a separate thing, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up file1.txt, and I'm going to make a change to it. I'm going to say I am Redshirt Prof, and this is a change that I've made. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save that change to file1. Okay, we're going to save that, and then we're going to quit the thing. Okay, and if I check git status here, it's going to say file1 has been modified. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to add that change. I'm going to go ahead and commit that change. Okay, with the message, we'll say modified file1. Okay, And if I check git status now, okay, it says I'm on branch master and everything is good, but my branch is ahead of origin master, which is synchronized to the redshirt prof. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push that change, and it pushes that change, and it's done here. I can check the status, and everything is good. If I come over here and I refresh my page, okay, we can see file 1 now reflects I am redshirt prof, and that's because I'm on my repository. Okay, if we go back to the class, the professor's repository, and I check file 1, it does not have that change, right? But if we go to redshirt prof, the non-professor account, we can see that this reflects the change. Okay, but what we need to do is we need to set an upstream, okay, an upstream remote repository. So again, if I check git remote -v, it's going to say we have an origin thing. Okay, so in order to do this, I'm going to just go ahead and search online, and we're going to say we want to do git set upstream for fork. Okay, so you want to set an upstream for a fork. Okay, and the command is just going to be git remote add upstream, and you have to give the address of the upstream repository. Okay, because the way it's working is that the professor is going to publish changes to the class repository, and so we'll copy this this address, so that when these get published onto the class repository, what you'll want to do is you'll want to pull those or fetch those changes to your own remote repository, and then you're going to want to then pull those changes from your own remote repository to your own. So what we're going to do is we're going to do git git remote add upstream, right? Which is the command we're going to do, git remote add upstream, and then we copy and paste the address of the class repository, SmilesChen. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We hit enter, and then so now we can check our remote configuration, git remote -v. Okay, and so we see we have the origin. Okay, this is your account and your remote repository, and then this is the upstream account, and everyone's upstream account should say SmilesChen and then the class repository, whereas yours will have your username. Okay, the origin will be your username. Okay, and then and so the way this works then is, let's say in class the professor posts some changes. Okay, then I'll push those onto the class repository, and what you will then want to do is you're going to fetch those changes and then merge them. So I'm going to stop the recording here. This is just to kind of configure the remote repositories, and then I'll create a separate video on fetching those and merging them to your account.